Howdy, howdy, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Archeryshack Shop Talk. I'm Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
We're on number 55. And if you're listening to this when it comes out, it's opening morning of deer season in South Carolina.
Yep. So good luck to everybody out there, and I hope you're wearing your safety harnesses.
Hopefully you're not listening to us. I guess you could be in the woods, but you're probably not hearing any deer if you are. So good luck to everybody. Let us know if your season has opened in the comments.
Yep.
Around about this time of the year, everybody starts opening up, so let us know.
Here's something I've been researching a lot, and it says like, I guess you can say deer hunting apps like Onyx. I currently got Hunt Stand and have had it a few years.
I got that one.
But what apps, like weather apps, or I know there's HuntWise. I've tinkered with a little bit now. Now, granted, I'm cheap. I want a good free one. I ain't wanting to pay a whole lot for one of these.
I'll tell you a cool one that I've been using for. Let me find it. Hang on. I've got into some camera stuff lately, and this app is called Sun Locator Lite. It's free, but it will tell you exactly when. It'll tell you. Let's go to morning. It'll tell you sunrise, astronomical dawn, nautical dawn, and civil dawn. So if you wanted to know like exactly like this particular morning we're recording this, astronomical dawn, which is when the slightest bit of light's going to start moving around, is 5:41. Nautical dawn 6:11, civil dawn 6:41. So if you wanted to know exactly when to be in the woods, this Sun Locator Lite, LITE, would be a good one. But yeah, let us know what you're using.
Yeah, like I said, I'm running Hunt Stand. I think I ran HuntWise before, but I can't remember. It's been so long since. But, what are y'all running out there? And as far as like, I know Hunt Stand, Onyx, all those have got a weather app, but what weather app are y'all running too?
Have you seen Tacticam came out with that reveal
camera
for it's going to retail for $100, I think.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. That's a good deal.
Our buddy Randy Ireland from Obsession TV, I think he's actually running them now, and I've seen him post on Facebook, and they're actually taking some good pictures. I looked into, Wild Game Innovations come out with one, and this, the Insight, I think it's called. They make two of them, Insight and Insight Air. I love the functions of those cameras, but I am seeing a lot of bad reviews on them about setting them up, and some of them not even working, which I know if that's the first batch that's got out, I know there's going to be bugs, just like a cell phone.
Yeah.
That first initial run, there's going to be some bugs, but I think it's somewhere right around that same 100 to 130 price range. I think ain't 100%.
It's crazy how cheap this stuff has gotten. And I've been using the Spy Point Link stuff, Cell Link, whatever it's called, but we got two of them now, and they're about $150, and then you pay the whatever a month. But I remember just very few years ago, these things were $300, $400, $500, and then you were paying like megabucks a month and had to have a contract and all this stuff. So,
well, a lot of them you had to put on your cell phone bill.
Yeah.
Well, I know with Spy Point, I hate to say it, but which I'm paying now, but 100 free pictures a month for free. Sent straight to your phone.
Yep.
And you can go in there and set what time you can have pictures sent and what time you want them sent and stuff like that.
But they know you get them 100 pictures and you're like, I got to get some more.
Yeah.
But let's talk about advantages or disadvantages of small diameter arrows. Somebody asked me that today, and just off the top of my head, I was like, well, wind drag won't be as big of a thing if it's windy. It's just according to the model, really, but I guess that's the biggest. That's why you see on the target end of things, field shooters shoot these little X10 arrows. They're little tiny arrows because the wind won't affect them much. But I'm going to play with some little bit smaller diameter stuff this year. When the Axis era came out, everybody was like, wow.
Yeah.
But, your broadhead's still taking up the same amount of space, but I guess possibly with a smaller diameter arrow going through an animal, it could possibly penetrate better.
Well, wasn't the Axis, but now I'm probably going to get in trouble. I know all, when everybody shot aluminums, they were heavy airs anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But when the Axis and the micro diameter stuff started coming out, you could get a heavier air as far as grains per inch of that air and a smaller air. And,
Mm-hmm.
that helped you get your total grain weight up.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right on that? Or?
Yeah. I mean, and even like the FMJs,
Yeah.
they're you can get some of those that are pretty stout, and they get that weight up there. A guy in here a while ago was talking about switching eras. He said, I got these FMJs. I got about, I think he had 9 or 10 of them. Should I switch? And I was like, to be honest, I'd just keep what you got till you get down to a couple, and then we can talk about switch if you want to switch completely. But I said, there's no other arrow like an FMJ that's made like that, so. But FMJ's a good arrow. The
And and a lot of people doing heavy air builds, that's what they're running, or a smaller diameter air. Just get, I guess, what is a thicker wall, carbon wall.
Mm-hmm. And like when we go to these shows, Gold Tip a lot of times will take arrows, and they have you can look this up on YouTube. Probably just type in something to the effect of Gold Tip arrow break test.
Yeah.
And they've got a last chance press that they've took the fingers off of and put these little arrow holders on each end, and they'll bring that press together and take different models of arrows from different manufacturers and really bend them and show you what they're trying to show you is the Gold Tip stuff's real durable.
Yeah.
But what I've learned from that and my own testing is a 100% carbon arrow will usually take a lot of abuse, and then right after you take it and flex it that much, you can spin it and it'll be straight. There's some arrows out there, and you can search YouTube for this. I hate to call out brands, but that have either some sort of plastics mixed in with them or this, that, and the other, and you can bend them and immediately, and I've tested it myself, it's true, you can bend them pretty hard, put them on an arrow spinner, and they'll wobble like crazy, but give it 5 minutes and they're back straight. So anyway, on that thing that Tim Gillingham uses with Gold Tip, I've noticed the smaller diameter arrows will take a lot more abuse, and he's put some of the bigger stuff on there, and it'll snap real quick or fairly quick. But it's worth. He's probably. I think I've seen it floating on YouTube. Like I say, it's worth looking at. But it's neat to see in person.
Yeah.
And what they do is take Gold Tip's 100% carbon stuff and flex it, and it don't break. And then they take XYZ manufacturer stuff, and it pops. About halfway where the Gold Tip didn't. So
yeah.
It's neat. When we first seen it, I was like, pretty good demo here.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, talked about this with a guy the other day. He was like, what size field tips fit what size arrows as far as diameter? On your average carbon arrow nowadays, a 5/16. 5/16. I was about to say 5/32. I don't know why. A 5/16 field tips, what's going to fit it? And that's because most of the inserts today have a little flare out on them to protect the arrow. Back in the day, we run a lot of 9/32 tips, and they work fine because they didn't have that flare out. But they make it a little bit bigger to protect that arrow and all this stuff. So on an average carbon arrow of 5/16 will work. You get into like your Axis and a little bit smaller arrows, usually you can go 9/32.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like on an Axis or an FMJ with that hidden insert, a 9/32 will be smooth, really no transition from tip to carbon. And then old school on your aluminum stuff, or if you were to put an insert in like a fat carbon target arrow today, you need an 11/32. And then there's some 17/64 stuff for some smaller arrows now. And then you get into like your deep six stuff from Easton when you get into some of their small, tiny little 4 millimeter stuff. But anyway, 5/16 is the most common by far if you're looking at size or diameter or whatever. So hopefully that answers somebody.
Yep.
Loop materials. What material do you change out a QAD cord with is a very common question I see floating around.
Yeah.
And now QAD sells their own stuff. It's fairly expensive, but you can also order the BCY number 23 material not 24. 24 is the thicker stuff that I like for regular loops. 23's got like a pretty heavy Spectra blend in it, and it's thinner. The 24 is bigger, a little by a little bit. You'll never get it. You can. We've done it, but it's a pain in the butt. You'll hardly ever get it through a QAD rest, but the 23 will fit in there great. So 23 is great for QAD rest replacement, cord replacement, but 24 is my go-to for a bowstring, putting a loop on type thing. We did some testing with the stretching of this stuff, and it blew my mind. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
On like a 3-foot piece of loop under 100 pounds that it would stretch several inches. I mean, we did it, and I was like, there is no way this is happening. And that joker said, boop.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about 100 pounds. I was thinking we could have put 400 pounds on it, and I didn't try it. It would have probably snapped it, though. I could be wrong, but man, that stuff stretches.
It was weird. And the only reason we figured this out, or we even thought about it, was, limb-driven air rest. They're pretty much running either number 23, or you can run 24 on those. Some of them.
And you got like a 2-foot piece.
Yeah, a good 2-foot piece, and after time you shoot, that cord stretches and your rest arm comes up. Well, we was back here one day, and I was like, well, let's just see how much it stretches, and maybe we can stretch it to keep it from that rest cord actually stretches. So let's just pre-stretch it. I mean, we started cranking down, and it just it was
even at 40 and 50 pounds, that joker was, and I was like, holy crap! And I think we got to about 100, and was like, we better stop because it had then went way out. But I guess that's just a thing, But anyway, 23 and 24 BCY cord. Now, Gibbs makes a great loop cord. We've been using their glow-in-the-dark loop for a lot of folks, but Gibbs makes super loops, what they call it. Pine Ridge makes a good loop. I'm not 100% sure. They're probably all getting it from the same place, maybe. I don't know, because I doubt some of these people that are not related to string-making companies or manufacturers, as far as bowstring, the material itself, I doubt they've got some machine cranking out loop material, but let me think. For some reason, it seems like the camo material stretches more than the rest. That's why I kind of quit putting camo on bows. I guess with all those colors mixed in, maybe it's got a little more
stretchiness to it.
But anyway, that's the lowdown on some of the loop materials. Conversation with a guy today. Me and TJ were both involved. He brings in a pretty old bow, and with a lot of old accessories. And when I say old, we're talking early to mid 90s. And I was like, well, you could go ahead and upgrade accessories. He's talking about if he likes it, he's going to upgrade his bow. You can go and upgrade your accessories mildly. I'm not saying get $300 sights and $200 rest, but we're talking about going from a TM Hunter and an old brass 4-pin sight to a whisker biscuit and a fiber optic sight of some sort.
Yeah.
And it made me think what we should talk about upgrading versus keeping old stuff, And I know we had one guy come in, and I mean, no offense at all, but his bow was literally worth $20. This is like an 1980s bow, 40% let off and all this, and he wanted this high, $150 sight, $100 rest, $100 of arrows, this, that, a new string, and we were kind of like, buddy, for about the same price, you could buy a beginner bow package, and that beginner package today is going to be like Cadillac versus Volkswagen. There's a huge difference, but he wanted to stick with what he had, and that's perfectly fine.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, anybody out there shooting? I did a video on that Jennings Buckmaster a couple weeks ago, and I know I got at least 4, 5, 6 comments. People said they're still shooting that bow. Now I wouldn't consider that bow, to me, just in my head, this has no relevance whatsoever, but that's sort of the beginning of the modern bow era. You know what I mean? Like that bow still shoots good. It had a lot of kick. Still shoots good though. But if you back up a few years and get into like I don't even know, some of the Bear stuff or the
steel cable
stuff, that's where you're kind of getting into the next level of oldness. And then
Yeah.
there's still, and then even more modern is like when the string stop and all that come out
Yeah.
in mid 2005, 6, 7. But anyway, I'm curious to know if anybody's shooting an older bow, and really don't plan to change. Or it's crazy as I get older because like people bring in, let's just say a Matthews Q2, and that's knocking on being a 20-year-old bow.
Yeah.
And it was just like yesterday we were setting up hundreds of those things,
Yeah.
to sell. And but shooting it beside a new bow is night and day. You know what I mean? It's a smooth bow, it's a great bow. But you shoot it beside a new bow, and it's like, wow, okay, this is a big, big difference.
Yeah. It's just hard to believe that bow is almost 20 years old.
I was talking to a guy 2 weeks ago, and I had sold him an SQ2 in 2001, and he was like, man, this is the exact same setup you sold me 19. He was like, how many years ago? And I was like, 19. And he was like, wow. I was like, yeah, it don't seem like it, does it? But
No.
anyway, let's talk about on bowstrings. We get a lot of questions about brass speed knocks versus Nitro buttons or Pine Ridge. What it actually is officially is a Pine Ridge Nitro XL button, and it's those little
Speed sleeves.
3-inch speed sleeves. People ask all the time, which one should I go with? What do you like? And what I tell them is, on a new bow, particularly right now, a Hoyt or a Matthews, they come with a lot of brass speed knocks on them. I'm talking some of these bows have 30 and 40 speed knocks on them made out of brass.
Mm-hmm.
I would stick with brass on those bows. But on the bows that only have a few speed knocks, the Pine Ridge Nitro XL buttons have two advantages. One, you still got some weight. You're still going to gain a few feet per second. But two, you're putting that rubber sleeve on there, and it's going to take out some of that string vibration, oscillation, whatever you want to call it, twanginess, if I can say that. It's going to take out some twang. So, if it's a new Hoyt or Matthews that's got a million brass knocks, I would say stick with their location. If you're ordering a string from us, stick with brass and that location. But if it's a 5-year-old, I don't know, just whatever bow that's got 2 or 3 or 4 speed knocks on each end, which was sort of the norm up until a couple of years ago, maybe the rubber speed sleeves are the way to go. That's just my opinion, but I've tested them. The cool thing, if you've got a chronograph at home, is you can take those speed sleeves and slide them up and down and find the exact optimal spot for your bow. Not, these bow manufacturers probably just set up a 29-inch bow and start slapping stuff on there and say, all right, this works. But it may not work. If you really got down to the nitty-gritty, a 27-inch draw is probably not going to be exactly the same as a 29. But with these speed sleeves, you can slide them up, slide them down a quarter inch at a time, write down your speed through the chronograph, this sort of thing. And I've had bows, particularly Hoyt bows, and if you know, let me back up, some of the Hoyt bows, like on top they'll have 4 knocks, and on the bottom they'll have 8. I've had some Hoyt bows not like a certain speed knock thing, and I've took some off, and they've bullet holed. I've put them back on, and it's given me a weird tear. So there's more going on with these speed knocks than people realize on these strings. But ultimately what the speed knock does is it's on the ends of the string, and I know people say, man, the more stuff you put on your string, the slower it gets. Well, that's normally the case. But what these do is on the exact moment of release, and you're at like 80 or 90% let off, that string almost, if you watch slow motion video, it almost sits there for a minute like, let me get ready, okay, go. Well, in that little split second, that weight helps that string to start laying down in that cam track a little quicker, and it gives you a little bit more speed. And then once it gets that inertia going, you know what I mean? It's in the exact right spot. So anyway, that's sort of what they do. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that. I was talking to somebody, and I wrote it down to talk about. Who's anybody in the woods right now watching us? You might have I need to get some. What's the Apple?
AirPods.
Yeah, AirPods. I'd be fancy if I had me a set, or the The Galaxy ones is the ones I looked at. Earbuds, I think they call them. And I want them because, let me know if you got either one, because which one should I get, or should I get any? I'm not really that, I don't think I'm quite that advanced yet. I don't even have the smart watch yet. But those earbuds I know, and maybe the newest AirPods, you can put them in your ear and set them on something or another. And like if me and you were talking, it would amplify just enough to sound like I didn't have them in my ear, but I can still listen to stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But I may need to get some. Y'all might be in the stand listening to something fancy like that.
I need to look into some of them too.
Partaine's got the oldest set, but it won't do all that, I don't think.
Yeah.
But they might still be here. He told me I could try his, but I didn't want to get ear mites like he's got. So anyway, if you're out in the woods, give us an update.
Yeah, I think they're sitting right over here. Yep, here they are.
They've been here for quite some time.
Yeah.
If you shoot anything, post it in the Friends of the Archeryshack Facebook group, because that'd be a good place for everybody to keep up with everybody that listens to this thing.
Post a picture of your rig. Hopefully me and Jeremy, we've gotten slack about it here. We keep saying we're going to get better, and we hadn't. We gotten so busy, but I'm going to try to sight in my bow, hopefully, before deer season. But
I'm shooting for about a week after to have, or maybe even 2 to have mine ready, because I just want to get everybody done and happy, and get in the first week or 2, get everybody, usually right after deer season starts, there's still a few stragglers, because like starting on a Tuesday, there may be a few people that's like, well, I can't hunt until Saturday, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people that'll need broadheads and arrows and all that, but get all these last minute people took care of, and then I'll worry about my crap. But let's tell them about shooting from a deer stand. People will come in. It's coming up. Deer season starts today. We're gonna have people come in, and they've maybe practiced from the ground, but not from a stand, and they're gonna be like, man, my bow's all over the place. I've shot high. I did this. I did that. Get out there. If you hadn't already, get elevated and shoot. And wherever your stand's at, think, all right, most of my shots are going to be 25, but the most effed up shot I could take is going to be like this.
Yeah.
Let me get up on top of the house and shoot like this and see how to aim, because it's not going to be like you think it needs to be. It's going to be crazy. Yeah. So go try it now in a controlled environment, or even better, if you can get to your stand without, making too much of a mess and scent and all that stuff, take a target with you, or a couple targets, and throw them down there and be like, all right, I'm set on 20 and 30 and 40 at ground level. Let me see what's going to happen if I'm shooting from up here.
Most of my experience is anything 20 feet and under. I really haven't had to play with my sight a whole lot, but once you get above 20 feet, that's whenever the laws of physics, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That's the reason they come. I bought one of these angle technology rangefinders, so it already does it for me. It is really worth it. But 20 feet and under has my sight from ground level to, I think my deer stand 17 foot, my ladder stand, and so far I can hit pretty much where I'm hitting it on the ground. Now that's just me. That's my setup. It's different for everybody.
Know. There's a certain angle I've noticed when I get past, it's going to hell. You know what I mean? Like, so
it's pretty much that straight down shot,
or just a little better, Yeah. But yeah, test it out. All sorts of things. You make sure your arrow's not raising up off the rest. Make sure you're not going to hit your leg or tree stand, all that stuff. Take care of all that stuff. It's opening day here, but if you hadn't been hunting the last couple of weeks, has been time to figure all that out.
Here's another thing a lot of people don't think about. I've got a buddy of mine that he done this in Ohio last year on a big one. It's too late now, but it's not too late. Everybody doesn't practice sitting down. Everybody stands up and shoot. Get in your deer stand, and at least when you get in the woods that morning, just draw your bow back and kind of look and see where that cam and that bottom limb of that bow is compared to whatever deer stand you're hunting out of. Ladder stand, climber stand, lock on.
Yep.
Because it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, we'll have in the next 2 weeks. We'll have 2 or 3 people come in, whether they're a warp cam or a cracked limb or a blown up bow. Man, I fired an arrow and I hit my limb or my cam or whatever on that bottom of that tree stand, and it exploded.
Yep.
Test it out.
Yeah.
Get your safety stuff
Harness.
in order. All that stuff. Be safe.
Yeah.
There's too many people I know now that's fell out of tree stands to not wear a harness. You know what I mean?
And to be honest with you, I know most tree stands come with a safety harness now, but
Get you a comfortable one.
yeah, please, you ain't got to go and spend $150, $200 on a safety harness. I know Walmart sells the Gorilla brand for like $70. Good, it's a good safety system. And, just a little bit of upgrade, they got the buckles and the clips, that way you're not trying to feed that thing. That's the reason I didn't wear one. I was trying to feed that strap through the, through the little turnbuckle. And I'm like, man, forget all this. This is aggravating.
Yep. But yeah, and one guy I know that fell out, he had one of the old ones on, an old school one, and it had dry rotted. And when it caught him, it snapped and flipped him upside down, and he ended up in intensive care for 3 weeks. So, check it out. You got an old one. If it looks all frayed and messed up or dry rotted or whatever, go ahead and get another one. I'm telling you, it's too many people's falling.
I'd rather spend $70 to $150 than 10 grand for my wife to bury me.
Yep. Yep. Be shooting flaming arrows.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, y'all. Hopefully y'all are having fun out in the woods, and
hopefully we'll be out there for too long ourselves.
Yeah, it's starting to cool off a little bit. Hopefully it's not the false fall, and it's gonna heat back up. Hopefully we're really getting cooler here. And but anyway, if you shoot something, or if you see something or anything like that, post it in that Friends of the Archeryshack group, and we'll get off here for now. And I think I said it last week, but give us another week or so to get on our Thursday night thing again. We're just trying to get everything caught up and up to date on our bows waiting, and then it's going to drastically slow down for us, so we'll have time to make more videos and pop up on the live feed. So thank y'all for watching.
Yep.
Be safe and grunt them in.
Yep. Good luck to everybody out there.
See y'all.
See y'all.